Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the mid-month online service of the Church of Infinite Spirit. I'm Reverend Skye. I'm one of the founders of this church, and our community has been meeting in Denver since 1999. So we're super grateful for technology so that we can now reach out to you in this new way and connect the way that we can. We're using the Zoom video conferencing platform. And if you're new to Zoom, there's a couple of cool things to know. One is that there's a chat function that you can find by floating your cursor down to the bottom of that Zoom window and just hit chat. And if you float your cursor up to the top of the Zoom window, you can change your speaker view, meaning you can see me talking, or you can change it to gallery. So you see everybody and their names or pictures in their little boxes on screen. If you're on the Zoom app on your phone, you should have all those functions too. If you don't have that Zoom app yet, you might want to grab it. This is the platform that we're using for just about everything now, and it's free to download in the usual places. So, on to our church, the Church of Infinite Spirit. It is the mission of this church to inspire spiritual freedom by supporting people in knowing themselves as spiritual beings and as a part of the consciousness that creates this universe. And we celebrate the joyous transformation that comes from that knowing of self as spirit. We hope to recapture the intention of church as a respite from the noise of life, as a space of remembrance of our spiritual nature, and a place of joyful connection. We are non-dogmatic and non-judgmental. There's no control, punishment, or reward energy here. We respect your divine right to create your own reality and manage your energy as you choose. It's always a take what you can use and leave the rest environment. When we share, it's with the intention of inspiring you to find your own truth, not to convince you of ours. I'm so glad you're taking a break with me today for the next 30 minutes or so to remember your spiritual nature and give to yourself. We always start our time together with a short meditation. Meditation makes everything easier because it brings us into that knowingness of our spiritual nature, and it opens us up to new possibilities. And doing it together is so, so powerful. We're going to walk through, we're going to walk through a short 4-step process to come present as spirit and shift our energy. So if you want to participate, it's helpful to close your eyes and place your feet on the floor. If you don't want to participate, you could just watch us do it. Maybe you could try it out if you haven't participated before. So, if you would, close your eyes, place your feet on the floor, give your body a nice big breath. The first step of this process is called grounding. Grounding is an imaginary connection from the base of your spine to the center of the earth. And it's done by visualizing, pretending, or imagining. So to begin, would you notice that body of yours? It's your greatest creation as a spiritual being. You're sitting in the chair. It's breathing. All is well in the moment. Notice how that body feels. Your neck, shoulders, your chest, your butt and legs. Let the body feel however it does. And if you would you notice more specifically the base of your spine? The base of your spine, the back of the first chakra energy center, and the space from which we ground. That spot on your body where if you had a tail, that's where your tail would grow from, the back of the first chakra. So would you imagine perhaps a tail or a colored beam of light extending from the back of your first chakra, just like a tail would. Let it grow long with your imagination. See it, pretend it, through the chair, through the floor. Watch it plunge into the earth. We're going to take these grounding cords, as they're called, all the way to the center of the earth. So you can imagine that tail or that beam of colored light growing from the base of your spine and all the way to the earth's core. If a beam of light just does not do it for you, you could imagine a tree root or plant stem, something earthy, extending from the back of your first chakra, just like a tail would, all the way to the center of the earth. Let's pretend these grounding cords grab hold at the center of the earth. Grounding helps us be in present time. It stabilizes the whole chakra system. And perhaps most importantly, the grounding cord becomes a trash chute to allow your body to let go of energy you don't need to be carrying. So much of the pain, stress, worry we experience is just the effect of energy recycling through our chakra system. Grounding gives that energy a place to go. Of course, we have to be willing. So as you sit with your brand new grounding cord, you might notice your willingness. I am willing to let go of anything I don't need to be carrying right now. The grounding cord will help you, will draw that energy out of you. Center of the earth will receive it with gratitude and transform it, recycle it into neutral creative force. So grounding, step one. Step two is to open the sixth chakra energy center. That energy center sits in the middle of our heads, behind the eyes, between the ears. Sixth chakra. It's the space of clairvoyance, clear vision, where we can see our own answers, our own path, and access our spiritual passion. The way to open the sixth chakra is simply to imagine being in it. Imagine being in the middle of your head. This brings more energy to the sixth chakra, activates it, and helps it work for you. So, if you would, with your imagination, imagine being in the middle of your head. It does feel different. Next, we're going to manage the energy field around us, the aura. Everything emanates energy. People, objects, situation, the computer screen, your phone, the device you're interacting with right now. Everything does. So by managing our energy fields, we become more masterful of the energy we are expressing and being. We become more masterful of our own reality. We do it by pretending. Just imagine you're sitting inside a big soap bubble or eggshell, and you're right in the middle. So that bubble is all around you, top, bottom, sides. You could even imagine that the bubble connects with the grounding cord below your body. So energy that might be in the bubble can be released right from the aura. If you'd like, you could paint your bubble a color. Strengthens the protective quality of the aura bubble. Mine is purple today. You might notice what color you'd like to imagine your bubble. The energies that we carry in the body, the chakras, the aura field, are reflected back to us in our experience of life. So we create change from the inside out. And we remember that we have the power to create our experience of life. We're releasing a lot of energy down the grounding cords. Let's fill in with something we'd like to experience. As you inventory your space, your experience, what's an energy you'd like to experience more of in your day? In these strange days, maybe you'd like more simple fun, more freedom, more creativity, more dedication maybe, clarity, trust. So many potential vibrations available in the sea of consciousness. Would you pick one now that you'd like to experience more of? And we'll bring it right into our realities by bringing it into our bodies and auras, because we create reality from the inside out. So we're going to seed the inner reality to reflect what we'd like. We'll do it by imagining a big golden ball of light, like a big gold sun above our heads. As you picture it, as you imagine it, you create it as spirit. The big gold sun is neutral light. To create the vibration you'd enjoy, take the word that represents the vibration you'd like to create and imagine writing it across the sun. T-R-U-S-T, or whatever you're creating. And then watch. It's like dropping food coloring into water. The sun will absorb, become, match, and multiply the word so that it becomes a big golden ball or big golden sun of the energy you'd like to experience. When that's happened, we say, would you pop it or drop it? In other words, set that sun right into your body. Or imagine reaching up and poking a hole in the bottom of the sun and let that energy stream into you. Allow yourself to receive the frequency of light that you've chosen and let it infuse you, coming in through the top of your head, filling the cells and the spaces between with the energy you've chosen. Let that energy come into your neck and shoulders, your arms, your torso. Oh, let it fill you all the way down to your legs. Notice your hands filling down to your knees, all the way to your feet and toes. And if there's more, let it spill into the space around you. Notice how you feel. Different than a few minutes ago. This is you proactively managing your energy as a spiritual being in Earth. If you'd like, you could stay right here in this meditation and receive the words of the day. Or if you'd like, you could open your eyes and stretch your body. Look at all the fun faces and names on screen. It's always nice to be reminded of our power to create reality. Even in these strange times, these skills really work to shift energy. Even in a pandemic, spiritual concepts remain the same. Sometimes, in the midst of challenge, we just forget our spiritual resources. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to remind you of them today. What we just did, we changed our energy, and you can do that anytime. We are in challenging times. And speaking of challenging times, last month, you may recall, I was supposed to be with you at the online mid-month spiritual service of the Church of Infinite Spirit. But the day before the service, I got a call from my husband, Bernie, from work. He was alone in the warehouse that he manages. And he called and said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And so I said, okay, go to the door of your office, unlock the door, put the keys by the door, lay down on the floor. I'm calling 911. They need to be able to get in to get you. And he said, no, I'm going to drive myself to the hospital. This is typical Bernie. So he drove himself to the hospital with me on speaker every few seconds saying, are you there? Are you there? Are you still in the body? Are you alive? Are you okay? And that phone call was the beginning of a whole series of events that have unfolded since. And one of the main spiritual themes that I've noticed in the unfolding of those events that have happened since is the idea of giving and receiving. Bernie is one of those people who's more comfortable with giving than receiving. And I would venture that most people on this call are probably more comfortable with giving than receiving. But giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. There can be no giving without a receiver. And there can be no receiving without a giver. So while Bernie was in the hospital, he got to receive. He was forced to receive. And I got to give in a deeper way. I got to give, and Margaret got to give by taking over the service from last month. Bernie's daughter got to give by helping me out. Bernie's daughter's roommate got to give by helping her out while she was helping me out. It's a chain of giving. And of course, there was no hesitation on any of our parts to give. Receiving was a different story. Our receiver had a hard time. And at first, Bernie just couldn't have it. He kept apologizing about the time, about the expense, even about the inconvenience, I'm air quoting, inconvenience of it all. And I have to say, his apologies really rubbed me the wrong way. I knew that it wasn't his intention to irritate me with his apologies, so why did it feel so weird? It seemed like it was discounting the joy and the great honor of the opportunity to give. And so we had a long talk about saying thank you instead of saying I'm sorry. And if you are one of those chronic apologizers, please consider gratitude instead. You are not a burden to those who want to give to you. Gratitude celebrates giving. Apology definitely does not. Giving and receiving. It's a dichotomy. Dichotomies are opposite sides of a spectrum of experience, like abundance and lack, birth and death, spirit and body. And as with all dichotomies in Earth, it's the side we can't have that controls us. If we can't receive, can we really give authentically? If receiving is difficult, what's the energy there? Maybe there's an energy of non-deserving, of being less than, of self-judgment, remorse, or self-punishment. Do we really know we're valued and loved? If giving is difficult, maybe we're low on receiving. Or maybe the concept of boundaries is at play. Or if we give from guilt, maybe there's self-judgment to clear. Giving and receiving are a rich topic with the opportunity to touch and illuminate core issues that we can heal. When giving and receiving are authentic expressions of ourselves as a spiritual being in the flow of life, they are a great reminder that we are all one. As we give, we receive. As we receive, we give. We have this relationship within ourselves, giving and receiving to and from ourselves. And then, on the other level, two or more create the experience. It's a rich topic, so let's meditate together on this topic of giving and receiving. If you're still grounded and focused in the middle of your head with your bubble around you, just acknowledge that space. If you opened your eyes, you might want to re-find that space. As you be, in the middle of your head with the sixth chakra activated. Consider the concept of receiving. Start with the harder one first. If you're familiar with the skill set we work with, you might imagine a rose for receiving. And let yourself become aware of your relationship with receiving. Are you a good receiver? Will you let others give to you? And if you're not a very good receiver, you might acknowledge, what holds me back from being a good receiver? The universe supports you as a receiver, so any energies that come up as you contemplate blocks to receiving can be released down the grounding cord to be recycled into neutral creative force at the center of the earth. So often we tell ourselves a story inside, in the internal world of energy, thought, feeling. It seems so real, but it's completely changeable. It's completely fluid. We begin to change it by confronting it. Is this really so? Or is this just what I'm used to thinking and feeling? As you become a better receiver, you give opportunity for givers. What about giving? Consider the concept of giving, or create a rose for the concept of giving. Are you a giver or are you a sacrificer? It's very different than giving. Do you give at your own expense or do you give from a full cup? They're entirely different experiences. If you're a sacrificer, you might notice, am I willing to receive so that I can give at an authentic level of fullness? The universe will support you, that's for sure. In a grounded space, contemplate these concepts of giving and receiving, or look at roses. Imagine having both sides of the coin, the full spectrum of the dichotomy, the experience of giving and receiving. You could even notice you're giving and receiving in your relationship with spirit. Do you give spirit your joy, your presence, your trust? Do you give spirit that which is not yours to figure out? Do you let go? And do you receive from spirit the peace of knowing yourself as a spiritual being? And do you receive the flow, the synchronicities, the joy of walking a life aligned with spirit, open and receiving? Some things to consider as we meditate on the concept of giving and receiving. Let's top off this meditation with a big gold sun. If you're working roses, finish up that work, release them. Make sure you're breathing. If these are deep concepts for you and you want to take that contemplation deeper, further, make an agreement with yourself. I'm going to look at this. This is something for me. When you're ready, Did you see that big gold sun, big gold ball of light above your head? Let's top this off with a big gold sun of gratitude. Remember that practice of gratitude instead of apology. So would you see that big gold sun above your head? Set it at gratitude by taking the word gratitude and writing it across the sun. Watch the sun absorb, match, become, and multiply the vibration of gratitude. A great vibration for approaching the whole idea of giving and receiving. When you've got a big gold sun of gratitude above your head, would you pop it or drop it? Let yourself fill in. Let yourself experience, taste, come to know the vibration of gratitude as it fills you. Let it fill up your head and neck and shoulders, coming into the body, coming into the chakras, coming into your reality. Your chest and torso, arms, hands all the way down to your feet and toes. And filling the space around you to the aura bubble. Lovely. If you'd like, you could stay right here in meditation. Or if you'd like, you could stretch and open your eyes. Notice how you feel. How powerful that you can look and shift and create. To close out my story about Bernie, it turns out he did not have a heart attack. Instead, he has a spinal injury that's pinching the nerves and causing chest pain and numbness, those classic heart attack symptoms. And there's so much damage that it's disrupting the spinal cord itself. So his lessons in receiving will continue. Surgery happens next week, followed by a long time of recovery, where Bernie will have no choice but to get to know the vibration of receiving. Spirit tends to give us opportunities to grow. It's nice to embrace them instead of resist them. So you might consider in your own life, what is your opportunity to grow right now? And would you like to receive it? Challenge, so often disguised as opportunity. Challenge is smooth when we receive the opportunity that they are. And speaking of receiving, this is the time where if we were in person, we would pass the basket, literally. We have some fun baskets and we would pass them around and ask for contributions to the Church of Infinite Spirit. But since we can't pass a physical basket now, we do accept donations with deep, deep gratitude on our website at interconnection.org. All one word, interconnection.org, under the sanctuary page. So please consider supporting us if that feels right in your heart. We always ask that you contribute anything that feels good to you from a place of joy, never out of a sense of obligation. We are a nonprofit. Donations are tax deductible. And they do make a big difference. They help with the website hosting and all the other stuff that goes into having an online space. It might seem like there are fewer expenses not meeting live, but the cost of software platforms and the technologies and the platform where we host all the free content and the social media support and all these things that go into having an online space are our new rent. So we appreciate contributions deeply. And we trust that the totality of your contributions will return to each of you manyfold. When we would pass the baskets in Denver, we would tell some jokes. So today I brought jokes about recovering from surgery. Well, the first one's about recovering from blood drive. A guy walks into a recovery room after donating blood. A woman asks him how he feels. The guy says, "I feel fine, but I doubt I'm helping anyone." The woman says, why so negative? And the guy says, I can't help it. It's in my blood. And then a woman in her 50s has a heart attack and goes to the hospital. While she's on the operating table, she has a near-death experience. She sees God and asks, is my time up? God says, no. You have another 43 years, 2 months, and 8 days to live. So the woman thinks, I'm going to live it up. And she goes and gets a facelift and new boobs and liposuction and all this plastic surgery. She thinks this is going to make her life better. She even dyes her hair and gets her teeth done. She's walking out of her last procedure and she gets run over by a truck. Arriving in front of God because she's dead, she says, I thought you said I had 43 years. Why didn't you pull me out of the path of the truck? And God says, oh, I didn't recognize you. And then one more, a classic. A radish goes to see his doctor after a horrific accident leaves him in a coma. When he wakes up, the doctor says, he told the doctor he's feeling a little better, and he says, what are my chances of a full recovery? And the doctor says, well, I'm sorry to tell you, you're going to be a vegetable for the rest of your life. And those are kind of the jokes that we really always have at our services. So if you got any good ones, feel free to email them in. We'll probably use them. I also want to do a couple of announcements before we close. Our next online service will be the first Sunday of next month. Margaret will be facilitating. I'll be off on my giving journey, helping Bernie receive. And there'll be social time after that one. The first Sunday of the month, we kind of stay on and have chat time after for those who would like. We have some great classes coming up soon. I'll be facilitating a series on intention and manifestation starting Tuesday, September 15th on Zoom at 10 a.m. It's a 4-week series focusing on the timeless concepts around intention and manifestation and the unique application of those concepts in the time of COVID. We also have open enrollment right now for the Graduate Spiritual Journey, and I'm offering that series on a sliding scale during COVID time. That class begins September 12th and goes for 6 months. And if you've completed clairvoyant training and are ready for more, it's a great way to keep the journey going and deepen your practice. Information about all of our new classes, including those two, are on our website under the Classes tab. So we're getting ready to close for today. As we release this time we've spent together and move into the next part of the day, I invite you to take these concepts of giving and receiving into your life. You might even ask yourself as spirit, what does giving look like today? And what does receiving look like today? Watch it play out in your relationship with yourself and with others as the miracle of incarnation moves along. I thank you for being here today, both here with me and here in Earth. And I thank you for offering your time and your attention. These are two of your most valuable resources in life, and I receive them with deep gratitude. I'll say bye for now, everyone. Take care. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you next time.